The tea kettle just whistled so loudly that it broke the sound barrier of the internet, so stop scrolling. Chrisean Rock, the human headline machine, the first lady of viral meltdowns, and the queen of turmoil, has finally spoken out about why her new boyfriend Bino chose to break their romance before it had a chance to develop. Furthermore, this isn't simply a breakup drama. It's a nuclear meltdown encased in heartache, tinged with pettiness, and presented with such vigor that the Kardashians might pass for a book club. Yes, the same Chrisean who turned every relationship into a pay-per-view event, fought Blueface in the streets, and sobbed on Instagram Live is back. But this time, she's the one being abandoned. How does she explain it? Whoa! It's more of an unexpected Netflix thriller than a love story. Why did Bino actually leave? Were there problems with loyalty? Was Chrisean being overly honest? Or was it something more sinister, something that would make even the love and hip-hop producers blush? Stay tuned, as this tale is more captivating than a Wendy Williams "How are you doing?" monologue. Relationships with Chrisean Rock don't simply end, they explode. They don't disappear into the night in silence. Instead, they leave with TMZ holding the popcorn, a police escort, and flashing sirens. What about her liaison with Bino? Look at Cinderella, but with a cracked iPhone screen and a courtroom subpoena in place of a glass slipper. This one had all the elements of a fairy story converted into a horror film. Let's turn the tape back. Bino enters the scene as the hero Chrisean vowed she needed following her tumultuous ordeal with Blueface. Fans were ecstatic and cheered her on as if she were making a Super Bowl return. People commented, "At last, Chrisean has found someone who won't use Instagram Lives as a weapon against her." Warning, the internet was completely incorrect, because whispers started a few weeks later. TikToks analyzed every side-eye, caption, and lyric in Bino's songs when screenshots leaked. There was a problem, and you know we're on the verge of an unavoidable train wreck when things are off in Chrisean's orbit. This is where things start to go crazy. People close to the couple, by which I mean cousins of barbers who used to clip Bino's hair, claim that the relationship was doomed from the beginning. Why? Because Chrisean doesn't do soft launches. She doesn't do low-key. As soon as Bino made an appearance, she attacked him on social media like he was a political contender. He can be a mystery man one moment and then be on Zeus Network cameras as though he was selected for the NFL of Poisonous Love the next. Furthermore, let's face it, Bino most likely believed he was entering into a romantic relationship. The fans? He was actually trying out for Season 2 of The Real Housewives of Baltimore. They took note. "This man's eyes look tired already," they murmured. And really? They were correct. He always looked the same in photos with Chrisean, as if he had just witnessed the uninvited spoiler ending to a Marvel film. What then caused the implosion? In typical Christian manner, the silence on Instagram Live ended because, well, it did. No news release, no phony apology. Simply Chrisean, unadulterated, with mascara a little runny and a voice that wavered between sadness and rage, explaining to the world why Bino left. She dropped bombs instead of a 10-minute lecture. Translation: Bino believed he was seeing someone he clicked with. She stated things like, "He couldn't handle me," and "These dudes want me until they get me." As it happens, he was using Wi-Fi to date a hurricane. The responses? Pandemonium on the internet. Supporters couldn't decide between Team Bino and Team Chrisean. Memes began to spread more quickly than her own tears. Another meme featured the Titanic sinking, with Chrisean's face as the iceberg. And another featured Bino running with Usain Bolt speed, with the statement, "When you realize Chrisean comes with Blueface beef." Baby drama and 24/7 live streams. Barbarian, of course, correct? It hurts. Not to mention that Chrisean herself stoked the flames. She doubled down rather than allowing the split to dissolve into a depressing Spotify playlist. She laughed at Bino as if he were just another deleted contact on her phone, posted articles, and made insinuations of treason. Fans couldn't tell if she was trying out for Petty Queen of the Year or was grieving. In fact, it could have been both. The tricky part is that Bino wasn't quiet either. He slipped into his own subconscious shade while Chrisean called him out with cryptic tirades. Rapper code for "This relationship drained me like an iPhone battery on 1%, through liking tweets, putting captions like "peace over problems," and spouting halting rhymes in the studio. What about the leak? The leak? Oh, you did not anticipate that we would bypass it, did you? According to screenshots, Bino was texting friends about how he was unable to keep up with the constant blueface comments, the drama, and the cameras. Imagine being in a relationship with someone whose biggest rival is their toxic ex, who still FaceTimes them to cause trouble. In essence, Bino stated, "I can't date her and her past." The internet, of course, devoured it. Simply put, clowning began on the streets. Bino didn't make it through the first round of Chrisean's emotional Olympics, according to Twitter threads that compared him to competitors on Squid Game. Chrisean was portrayed by TikTok editors as the quintessential femme fatale who consumes guys like disposable lighters. The finest one, too? Bino dumped Chrisean faster than Netflix cancels shows after one season, read a widely shared post. Tell me, isn't that savage? But let's look at the wider picture. Chrisean didn't only break her silence to expose Bino. It was about taking back her place in the tumultuous, must-see drama world. Whether you like her or not, you can't deny that she has the ability to hold everyone's attention with every word. Not only does she get dumped, but she turns it into a movie. Instead of just spilling the tea, she lets fans drink at their own peril by posting the entire situation online. At this point in the pandemonium, where does that leave us? With a split that appears more like an unplanned reality show finale than two people going their separate ways. Fans painted the entire situation as the drama fix they didn't realize they wanted. Chrisean painted herself as misunderstood, and Bino painted himself as worn out. And if you believe that this is it, oh, buckle up, honey. Because relationships don't simply end when the internet gets involved. They are revived, made fun of, ridiculed, and used as currency in popular culture. Chrisean Rock, too? She recently cashed another check, this time for importance rather than affection. You have obviously not been paying attention if you believe that Chrisean Rock's confession was the end of the story. When it comes to her, the breakup is only the beginning of the controversy. The public collapse that followed was so epic that even Kris Jenner looked over her glasses and asked, "Why didn't I think of this for keeping up with the Kardashians?" The problem is that the internet doesn't simply respond to Chrisean. Everyone wants to be an armchair producer because the internet treats her life like an interactive Netflix special. Memes, tweaks, and celebrity subtweets were all over the place within hours of her Instagram Live. As though fans were putting on a rap fight for their hearts, it was impossible to browse Instagram, TikTok, or Twitter without seeing Chrisean's tear-streaked visage next to Bino's awkward half-smile. Let's go on to the exciting part. The responses from celebrities. One would think that celebrities would avoid this problem. False. Bino lasted shorter than a Popeyes. "Chicken sandwich craze," tweeted rapper Lil Duval without any delay. Savage. Then there was Saucy Santana, who used wigs, a toy baby stroller, and a Red Bull can to practically replay the breakup on TikTok Live. In a single day, it received 500,000 views. Even Tamar Braxton commented on social media, writing, "Sis, let him go if he can't handle your glow." Period. However, it wasn't entirely encouraging. With more grace than a diamond ring, some celebrities shaded her. A mysterious tweet was made by an unnamed reality star, who we all know was Erica Mena, but we'll pretend that she wasn't. Some women confuse chaos with love. Cue admirers berating her in the comments because if there's one thing Chrisean has, it's a horde of devoted defenders who type more quickly than the FBI. That's why their men keep fleeing. Speaking of defenders, let's also discuss memes, which, to be honest, now merit their own award show. Bino was photoshopped into an Avengers scene in one widely shared modification, where Chrisean's face took the place of the Mad Titan as they fled from Thanos. My particular favorite was the one that featured her holding a leash while Bino was the dog, with the comment, "He thought he was walking away, but, baby, she owns the sidewalk." A Jerry Springer set including Blueface, Bino, and Chrisean was altered by someone with the caption, "Who's the baby daddy of this drama?" The internet is genuinely merciless. Let's not pretend, though, that Chrisean wasn't contributing to it herself. She would always return to social media with another mysterious statement, just when admirers thought the tempest was over. She wrote, "They always choose peace until peace is boring." Interpretation? Bino was too immature to stay for the fireworks. The comment section? She even posted a TikTok of herself dancing to a breakup anthem, captioned, "Single, but never sad. A battleground." Half the admirers applaud her for being independent, while the other half make fun of her by saying things like, "Girl, you were crying yesterday." The twist then appeared. Screenshots purportedly appeared, this time implying that prior to the breakup, Bino had been texting another lady. Supposedly, presumably. Claims, "Please refrain from suing me." However, it spread like gospel in the streets. Chrisean's side-eye posts suddenly seemed more like foreshadowing than petty criticism. Like detectives on Law and Order, fans began piecing together timelines after noticing that Bino was following a particular model on Instagram. They saw likes being sent back and forth. They saw captions that sounded eerily like other people's love songs. Let's hear everyone gasp. Now, it made little difference if the cheating rumor was true or just fan fiction. Because perception is reality in the realm of celebrity breakups. Bino's transformation from tired boyfriend to villain in the franchise happened overnight, and fans quickly found him guilty, making Johnny Depp's trial seem like a drag. Twitter users quipped, "Plot twist. Blueface and Bino link up to start a support group for Chrisean's exes," while TikToks dubbed him Blueface 2.0. Not to be overlooked is Blueface, the enduring presence that haunts Chrisean's relationships. He was powerless to resist. Smiling, he went online and typed, "Told y'all." 2 words, but enough to blow the internet up in flames. Though they called him toxic, dirty, and a troll in their remarks, they knew deep down that he thrived on the mayhem. Blueface watching Chrisean's love life is like Thanos watching the Avengers struggle. "Inevitable," said one admirer, in the best possible words. What was meant to be a breakup turned into a full-fledged pop culture circus at this point. Everybody had a viewpoint. TikTok therapists used her situation as a case study for why boundaries matter, while Twitter simply roasted them both with memes so savage they could end careers. Think pieces with titles like "Why Chrisean Rock is the Face of Toxic Love in Gen Z" and "Bino Learned the Hard Way. You don't date a brand, you date a storm" appeared. The worst part is that Chrisean didn't back down. She leaned closer. Rather than hiding under the covers, she showed off new wigs, uploaded unconcerned photos, went to the studio, and hinted at new music with lyrics that sounded suspiciously like veiled insults to Bino. Lines like, "Boys who couldn't handle a queen," "Running away from real love," and "Choosing peace but losing me" are typical post-breakup empowerment songs that also serve as shade grenades. The irony is that Bino became quieter the louder she became. He stopped posting anything more than gym photos and ambiguous motivational sayings like, "Focus on yourself." What does that mean? While she was using heartbreak as a business tactic, he was retreating. Because, let's face it, drama is Chrisean's brand, not simply her life. Bino, too? He didn't account for the price of entry. To summarize this middle chapter of insanity, Chrisean sobbed, retaliated, and disrupted the internet. Despite Bino's best efforts to remain calm, memes devoured him. Like a vulture flying around the battlefield, Blueface glided in with shadow. After fans became private investigators and celebrities offered their opinions, this split became more than just a breakup. It became a cultural event. The aftermath, however, is the unexpected plot surprise. For when the smoke clears, what happens? When the TikToks cease trending, the memes fade, and the fans turn their attention to the next issue, what will happen? This is where the story becomes more complex and dark. And believe me, there is more to the repercussions than just mess. It is explosive. The true effects of Chrisean and Bino's collapse became apparent after the dust settled, or at least when people expected it to. And believe me when I say that this was more than simply a breakup. It was an earthquake of culture, fan bases, friendships, reputations, and even the love and hip-hop rumor mill were all affected by the shockwaves. It reminded me of one of those Marvel post-credit scenes where, just when you thought the mayhem was finished, another explosion occurs. Let's start by discussing Bino. The poor guy believed he would find peace by leaving, but instead, he found himself on the dartboard of the internet. Overnight, his name became a joke. The phrase, "pulling a Bino," appeared whenever someone tweeted about giving up anything too quickly. Gym memes with Bino dropping dumbbells with the statement, "can't even hold a relationship, let alone weights," were also common. In an attempt to keep quiet, the man became a running joke on the internet more quickly than Ja Rule during a documentary at the Fire Festival. Chrisean, meanwhile, was thriving rather than merely getting by. She becomes the protagonist of every timeline at this point. She used the agony to gain power rather than letting it fade into grief. With subliminal breakup bars interspersed throughout her new song samples, fans yelled, "This is about Bino, isn't it?" The line, "he couldn't handle a diamond, so he ran back to stones," went viral. Lip-sync contests on TikTok went viral after just that line. It was more than simply music, though. She was scheduled to participate in panel shows, clubs, and interviews, all of which asked her the same question. What actually occurred with Bino? And each time she only provided a response that was sufficient to keep the narrative going. Never the whole tea, only the breadcrumb trail. Brilliant. Keep them wondering, keep them interested, and keep the checks rolling. That's the Kris Jenner school of scandal. Let's not overlook the collateral harm that occurred while Chrisean was enjoying her moment of Phoenix rising. Bino's image as the silent, secure rebound was utterly destroyed. Fans no longer believed it. He was now known as the guy who couldn't handle the fire, which is essentially the kiss of death in the world of celebrities. The headline makers are what brands seek, not the weak ex or the boring guy. And you know what? He wasn't the center of attention, Chrisean was. Then followed the more serious repercussion: problems with trust. In a heartfelt Instagram tirade, Chrisean acknowledged that Bino's departure caused her to completely reconsider love. "I feel like I'm too real for this industry," she stated. The phrase, "they love the idea of me, not the reality of me," was widely shared by gossip websites. Messages like, "Girl, you're the moment. Don't ever dim your light." And harsher ones like, "Maybe it's not about being too real," were posted in the comments section by fans. Perhaps it has to do with being too much. The division was harsh, and all of a sudden, this was about her whole identity, not just Chrisean and Bino. This is where the paranoia started to creep in. Every potential relationship Chrisean even alluded to was immediately scrutinized. Blogs published headlines like, "New man alert," whenever she uploaded a photo with a guy in the background. Twitter was ablaze with rumors about whether or not she enjoyed a rapper's post. Her romantic life was now considered public property rather than merely private. And truthfully, that's the cost of being famous in 2025. But let's zoom out because they weren't the only ones impacted by this split. It changed the way people talked about pop culture. Think pieces with titles like "Toxic" or "Iconic" and "The Chrisean Rock Effect: Why Men Fear Powerful Women" were all over Medium and YouTube. Even programs that often focus on politics or sports chimed in with their opinions on the double standard of celebrity. Breakups! The audience chuckled when an NBA podcaster joked that Chrisean got dumped faster than the Knicks in the playoffs. However, it was secretly proof that her split had gone beyond rumors. It was popular. Speaking of going beyond rumors, let's bring up Blueface since, as you may know, he couldn't help himself. He rekindled the tale with another cryptic tweet, just as it was about to fade. Bino finally understood what I was trying to tell y'all. Translation: he was portraying himself as her chaos's forerunner. His name ended up trending alongside hers, despite the fact that fans dragged him. Their poisonous relationship thrust him back into the public eye. Their chaotic connection is so consistent that you almost have to appreciate it. Nearly. What does this leave us with, then? Chrisean Rock has, on the one hand, made sadness into a business strategy, using every lyric, every clapback, and every tear to feed her enterprise. However, Bino has turned into a warning, the celebrity equivalent of "don't bite off more than you can chew." The repercussions were not only psychological, they were also cultural. Furthermore, scandal affects the economy in our reality TV-driven society, in addition to providing entertainment. The true kicker, though, this left a trail of interest. Because why did Bino dump Chrisean is no longer the question. Her version is already known to us. Who's next is the query. Who has the courage or folly to enter the maelstrom of Chrisean Rock's romantic life? Will they have a happily ever after when they do? Or will it be another internet-shattering breakup that makes this one seem mild? I promise that we will continue to analyze Chrisean's personal life in the same manner as in the Zapruder movie. This split is only Season 1, if anything. Additionally, Season 2 is probably already loading. That concludes the breakup drama that caused the internet to choke on its popcorn, people. Another chapter in the never-ending soap opera that surpasses love and hip-hop reruns was recently released by Chrisean Rock, the undeniable master of making heartache into news. Bino believed he was leaving in silence, but instead he became a permanent footnote in Chrisean's ever-expanding highlight reel of pandemonium, a cautionary story, and a meme. Discuss leaving a legacy. I need you to enter the ring now, though. Was Chrisean too much for Bino to bear, or was he mistaken for leaving early? Because this is the internet and not Sunday school, feel free to share your most outrageous thoughts in the comments section. And if you're like how we explore these scandals, please hit the like button as if it were a child support debt. Press subscribe as if you were sending Chrisean direct messages at 3 in the morning. And activate those alerts because we, along with the drama, never stop. Here, controversies are constantly reloading.